Welcome to SyrupDrop. I'm Jessica Bomero, and this is my colleague, Rose Bahar.
Hey, what's good, guys?
And we have got a whole slew of tech news for you this week, starting with Samsung's final press conference on what exactly went wrong with the Note 7. Followed by that, we'll be discussing Samsung's actual earnings report that may leave some of you surprised. And lastly, we will be talking about the discontinuation of CDMA networks by Bell and TELUS. Why don't you kick us off, Rose?
Well, so Samsung finally announced what went wrong with the Note 7, that it just kept combusting. And I know you guys might have thought we were done talking about it. We're not done talking about it. You better sit down and listen. But you probably have seen the news so far. There were two malfunctions with the batteries. Mm-hmm. So the first battery had an issue. It was too big for its casing, causing it to combust and light fire. And then the second battery had a welding issue that was purportedly due to the fact that they were rushing. Mm-hmm. Of course, do you find those really satisfying answers?
No, I find it really interesting actually, because there is a theory going around that the original cause of the mishap with the Note 7 took place because they were rushing to match Apple's iPhone, and in order to rectify that, they decided to rush to get replacements into the hands of consumers.
And quite literally squeeze things in. So I think a lot of people were like, oh, well, the answer is not exactly satisfactory. But they made a very humble apology and said, going forward, we're not cutting any corners. There's going to be a lot of testing done. So it was a nice apology nonetheless. And after that, following that, Mobile Syrup did a little follow-up within Canada, and we found out that there's about 200 Note 7s left in the country, waiting to explode somewhere near you. Mostly in the northern area, because it's hard to get, you can't get UPS out there necessarily. So you can't do Canada Post because they won't carry them because they're dangerous. So you need a special place that will actually ship them.
Absolutely. And despite all of this, Samsung actually managed to pull out its third most profitable quarter in company history, primarily due to its chip sales, which kind of just goes to show you that Samsung is a company with so many moving parts that despite the fact that two recalls over the course of the last half of 2016 cost the company $5 billion, it really didn't make a dent in its overall revenue of $45.8 billion by the end of 2016.
I mean, that's outstanding. I don't think investors really expected that. I think their own personal guidance may have been even a little under that.
Absolutely.
So what do you think that means for Samsung?
I think it means a couple of things. I think that the Galaxy S8 is likely going to see a lot of success because the company did not feel the heat from the Note 7 as much as they thought they did. But I also think that the next earnings report might surprise us from Samsung, because it's very easy to move things around in an earnings report, to move a loss here, move a loss there, to make it look like it's not as bad as it necessarily is. So we'll see what happens when the next earnings report comes out. Maybe they just haven't felt it yet, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Absolutely. And in Canadian news, the CDMA networks of TELUS and Bell, at least portions of Bell, are closing down on January 31st. So CDMA, for people that don't know, is that older network as opposed to the new GSM network, where you didn't have to use SIM cards. It was also slower, and so it's a bit of a dinosaur, and it's only slowly moving out because people still hang on to these old dinosaur phones that don't break because they were kind of made right back then. And they didn't explode.
Nope, they did not explode often.
Right. So that's happening. Everybody watch out for that. Your flip phone, might not work for TELUS or for Bell in Gaspé, Quebec,
Alberta, and British Columbia.
That's right. I think that's all we have for you this week.
Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to leave your questions in the comment section, and we will do our best to answer them.
Remember to follow and to smash that like.
Have a great weekend.